Hey there, welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Musa Jala, and in today's video I'm going to be reacting to a video by Alox. And the video is entitled 15 Things You Didn't Know About Norway. I live in Norway, I am a Norwegian citizen, so I'm like so really curious to see what are the things I don't know about Norway. So with no further delay, let's get into the reaction.
Today we're looking at 15 things you didn't know about Norway. In our sights today we have Norway, the Scandinavian country with lots of history, cool designs, Viking ancestors, and a growing economy. Topped with natural, beautiful landscapes and lots of oil they export, it's easy to see why Norway is the ruling country in the peninsula. With a population of a little over
Man, like Norway is really beautiful. Like take a moment and appreciate this place. Like the architecture I feel like is so unique. You have like this modern building on the side, you have some modern buildings here, but then you have like the traditional ones. It's actually really so pretty. Like yeah.
5 million people. The country is mostly inhabited in the southern region due to the north's harsh climate and tall mountains. It's said that the first Vikings originated from Norway between the 8th and 10th centuries, and nowadays the country is one of the healthiest and happiest in the world. Having lots of natural resources and a clever way of managing them made Norway a model almost nobody managed to replicate. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. With all that being said, we've done some digging and found some incredible things about this country. Here are 15 things you didn't know about Norway. Number 1. Norway exports tap water. Yes, you heard that right. Tap water. In Norway, the water is so pure that you can drink it from the tap with no problems.
It's actually so crazy how good the water is in Norway. I don't know, like I went to France for 1 week. The water was like so disgusting for me. And people say France have a pretty good water, but I don't know, it's the chemical they put in the water I'm not used to. But man, I felt really so bad. The only way I was able to drink the water in France, like the water had to. I shouldn't say France. I should say Paris. The only way I was able to drink the water in Paris is like except when it's very cold, or else.
Their water comes mostly from glaciers and natural springs that don't need much filtration. You can even get their tap water at restaurants for free. Having such praised water supplies, they managed to market it and sell it as artisanal water all over the world. We're talking about Voss water, the Norwegian
I feel
brand
like
selling.
this brand it is like the biggest scam ever. The bottle looks cool. I'm gonna give it to them. It is glass, so it's like sustainable, blah blah blah. But I feel like this is like the biggest scam. They are so expensive. People, I don't even get it, but people buy this thing.
Bottled tap water. This story was uncovered in the documentary film A Drop of Luxury, where one executive from the brand admitted that the water is pretty much tap water in a fancy bottle. Number 2. Norsemen go to Sweden or Finland to buy cheaper alcohol. If you're planning to take a trip to Norway,
Okay, this one is like so true. Like because I live like maybe 20 minutes driving away from the Sweden border because I live in like an area called Salzburg. At one point I was even buying my gasoline in Sweden. They always produce a lot of petroleum product, right? But still, for some reason, I don't know how, but sometimes it is cheaper, like way cheaper to buy like gasoline or diesel in Sweden than in Norway.
make sure you bring enough money with you because even if it's a great country to visit, it's also extremely expensive when it comes to housing, dining, transportation, and pretty much everything. The minimum wage is around $25 per hour, so money is not a problem for the locals.
Norway doesn't have like minimum wage per se, but a lot of worker unions in Norway they like negotiate like the salary for people in their worker unions. So like for example, if you like in a worker union for like nurses, they're gonna like negotiate like salary, like minimum salary for nurses. Even if you're not part of that union as a nurse, you might still be able to like still benefit from that salary. So like it is crazy, but there is no like oh this is the minimum wage. But people like in general they make pretty good money. But like $25 per hour, that's like almost 250 krona. I would say like that's a little bit high. Maybe like from 190 krona to like up to like maybe 220, 250. That is like more reasonable.
But even so, they still like to buy cheaper items like food or alcohol. People travel between Norway and Sweden just to get cheaper alcohol and basic groceries for years. Police stopped a truck at customs one time because it was transporting $2.8 million worth of undeclared garlic across the border from Sweden,
Wow.
as reported by the Irish Times. If you ever visit Norway, maybe stock up on some alcohol and snacks just to blend in. Number 3. Famous movies and TV series were filmed there. Europe has been the set of a lot of movies and TV shows lately. More and more productions seek out old medieval cities, green plains, or high shores that cannot be replicated in the studios. Such locations later become major tourist attractions and offer people new destinations to travel to. Norway is also on the list of famous sets with movies like The Danish Girl, The Empire Strikes Back, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Ex Machina, or The Golden Compass, being shot fully or partially there. If you
This is actually crazy, they just go to show you like how beautiful Norway is, like this place is like really, really so pretty, like if you're into modern things, like if you really want to see modern things, you can find them here. If you want to see like this old medieval things, you can also find them here, so like this like really so crazy, but it is actually true.
If you want major FOMO design, watch Ex Machina as it was shot in a breathtaking Scandinavian home. Number 4. They started a wealth fund worth $1 trillion. Norway has quite a small population and the northern part is not very inhabited since it snows all year round and temperatures are below zero almost all the time. That's why most of the population lives in Oslo, the capital city, or the surrounding area where they can be closer to civilization. The country relies on its oil extractions from the Northern Sea very much, and you'll be surprised to find out that most of the profits from the oil industry are secured into a wealth fund, which is now worth $1 trillion. This money is used by the population and for the population. As of 2017, every citizen has $192 from that fund, and it keeps growing.
It's actually so crazy, like this video is a bit old, because now the fund is like almost, I think like 1.3 trillion or something like that. It's like really so crazy, but I feel like it was the smartest thing they ever done in Norway, to like create that wealth fund.
While your country might be in debt, Norway has money in a trust just in case something happens. Number 5. The richest man in Norway is John Fredriksen, with a net worth of $7.3 billion. The person we're going to talk about now is most probably not known to a lot of people. In fact, a lot of billionaires are not out there in the media.
I feel like even in Norway, he might not be so popular, because like rich people in Norway, they really try to like live like a low-key lifestyle, like for example, like rich people like in the US, they are like considered to be like a celebrity in a way, but rich people in Norway, they don't show their money like that,
on the red carpet or at major events. They usually run their businesses from their office or on their plane. John Fredriksen is the richest person in Norway and has a fortune of $7.3 billion as of 2018, and most probably only people in Norway know about him and his business. He made a fortune out of oil tankers and shipping, and he owns the world's largest oil tanker fleet. He also has major interests in other oil-related businesses and will probably make some more investments in the near future to secure his place in the industry. Number 6. Kevin Spacey is accused of abusing a member of the royal family in Norway.
Man, this dude though, like I don't get him, Like I used to really like the series like The House of Cards, but since then I feel like you have kind of like spoiled it for me, Like, I don't know what's wrong with you, my friend. Like, oh my God.
We've all heard about Kevin Spacey's abuse scandal that broke out a few months ago, and we even wept a little after his removal from the House of Cards' final season. He was accused of sexual advances towards a 14-year-old boy back in 1986. Kevin Spacey stated that he does not have any memory of that, but he apologized publicly. But that wasn't enough, and his reputation had quite a bit to suffer after the scandal. Another victim came through regarding Kevin Spacey's behavior, and that person is a member of Norway's royal family. He told the media that Kevin Spacey groped him under a table at a Nobel Peace Prize concert in Oslo 10 years ago.
Wow.
His name is Ari Ben, formerly married to Princess Martha Louise and father of 3, and he became the 16th man to accuse Spacey of sexual misconduct. Number 7. Their Olympic skiing team had Nazi symbols on their sweaters. When you're born in a country where winter lasts almost all year long, it comes as no surprise that in matters of sport, you'll be practicing the winter ones. Norway's winter sports teams are always winning medals at the Winter Olympics or any other competition. For the 2018 Winter Olympics, their designer tried something new for the team's official clothing, but in return, they only got negative comments and Nazi references. Their black and gray sweaters feature a symbol, Tyr rune, representing the attacking Viking, a symbol commonly associated with Viking and Norse mythology. But the symbol has also been used by extreme right-wing groups.
But like in that case, is that the people problem, you know? Oh my, the war is crazy. I don't even know, you know. But the Norwegian skiing team, man, like it's crazy, you know. When it comes to like winter sport, Norway is the country of like the most amount of medals, you know. Like, oh my god, nah, it's crazy.
And is also the official emblem for Adolf Hitler's leadership school in Nazi Germany. I guess it's safe to say the designer got an F in history class. Number 8. Police uncovered years of sex abuse in Norway's northern areas. Another sex scandal was uncovered in Norway this year. This time, people from the far northern areas were on the radar when police uncovered over 150 sex abuses and assaults that went unreported for a year. Generations of native Sami people living in remote northern regions have been victims of rape and child abuse. With a population of around 2,000 people living in those communities, you can imagine how big of an impact the scandal had. These Sami communities have their own language and have been living across the Arctic in Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia for a long period of time without going extinct. But sadly, they have lots of abuse issues, and who knows what other.
It's actually crazy when you think about like the Sami people, right? You know, like I know today now is trying a lot of things to like integrate them more to like preserve the language, blah blah blah. But I feel like it's like really not enough, you know, because like I've been living in Norway for like almost 7 years now. But to be honest with you, I don't even know how people say hello in Sami, like in the Sami language, you know. Me personally, I could like use my time and make a little bit of research, you know, because it's like really so crazy how they have been living here forever. Think about the original people of Norway, they are the original people of Norway. But it's like really so crazy, like how you don't even hear about their culture nowadays, you know.
Problems. Number 9. Norway is not an EU member. The European
That we
Union
know.
is a political and economic union of 28 member states that are located primarily in Europe and was established in 1957 through the Treaty of Rome. Back then, only 6 countries entered the union and 7 more would enter as the union grew bigger. Norway was a part of the second batch of countries that wanted to enter the Union in 1972. The decision was negotiated for almost 2 years between Norway and the rest of the member countries, but was ultimately submitted to be a referendum vote, and the population voted against the EU. Since then, Norway declined another EU invitation and is still not a member of the EU, but remains one of the richest and most prosperous countries in Europe. Number
If something is not broken, why try to fix it, you know? So I don't feel like, no, it's maybe they're gonna be part of the EU in the future, you know, like Norway, but I don't feel like that is gonna happen anytime soon, you know. If something is not broken, don't fix it.
10.
You know?
Oil is very expensive in Norway, even though they produce
yes.
and export it. In case you didn't get it by now, Norway is very expensive. It's up there with Switzerland, where a small bottle of water is at least $5.
I know if you look at the statistics, they might tell you like Switzerland is like almost, maybe it's a bit more expensive than Norway, or maybe I'm just naive. But when I was in Switzerland, I felt like it was so much cheaper than Norway. It's crazy, you know. But one thing that is like very cheap in Norway, if you compare like Oslo to the other big city like London, New York, or like maybe San Francisco, it's like housing is pretty cheap in Norway compared to the other big city, you know. But everything else, Norway is always more expensive, you know.
At the supermarket. Topped with housing, groceries, utilities, transportation, and dining out, you end up spending a few €1,000 just on your daily life expenses. If you paid attention, we mentioned earlier that Norway makes most of its money and profit from the oil industry. They extract the oil from the Northern Sea and then they export it. That easy. You would expect in this case to buy 1 liter of petrol at the gas station for a couple of dollars since they have so much of it. But no. Norway has the highest oil prices in the world. 1 gallon of petrol is at least $7.82, almost 3 times more expensive than in the US. If you want to find out some
$7.82 for like 1 gallon is like almost like 4 liters. I will kill for that right now, you know. Right now it's like almost $10, $11 for a gallon, you know. It's so
More.
crazy, you know.
Number 11. Norway is the first country that banned tree cutting. Just Googling Norway on the web or watching the movies we mentioned a few minutes ago will get you the full picture of just how beautiful and raw this country is. Lots of untouched nature, natural reservations or parks, Aurora Borealis, and Lapland are just a few of the wonders you can experience in rural Norway. And in order to keep the landscape as Mother Nature intended, the government decided to act and passed a law that banned tree cutting across the whole country. Deforestation is a major problem, and a lot of regions face it, and it's affecting our global climate too.
Actually, I feel like this is a bit of a propaganda in a way because, like, literally, like outside my window right here, you know, there is a company that like pull log, right? But I know like Norwegian, they don't like cut like healthy forests and like going like make them into furniture and stuff like that. But the cut tree that is like pretty at the end of the life that need to be cut so they can plant like newer ones. So like I know like I'm not sure about the risk, but I'm guessing like in Norway, whenever a company cut tree, they have to plant a new one, you know.
Let's hope more countries look up to Norway and act quickly. Number 12. The fjords area will be the first zero-emission zone at sea. Norway's majestic fjords have become popular tourist attractions over the years. You can't visit Norway without having a cruise over the fjords in the same waters as the Vikings once sailed. But since they're so popular, it means more and more people are visiting, and that means pollution levels are growing. The area is now being transformed into a zero-emission zone at sea, and no cruise ships and ferries are allowed to go there if they're not electric.
I feel like that is very good, you know, like because this place is like look at this place, man. It's like so pretty, you know. I feel like they should continue to do this. Like if it's not electric, night talk, they shouldn't go there, you know. I feel like they are really, really so pretty, you know. But like tourism also, I feel like it's really good, but sometimes it's not good. But I like Norway is like reached to the extent like they don't like we need to have like all the tourist money to do things so if they can like say sometimes you know what we're gonna say no to this, you know, or if you wanna come here so with your boat you have to be like electric, you know. So I feel like it's a really good thing.
This measure shows that tourism can be dangerous to a lot of beautiful areas, and no money can bring back what people and pollution destroys. Another thumbs up for Norway. Number 3. They knighted a real penguin. There's a penguin in this world that is actually a real knight, with decoration, full rights, and an army to his little feet. It might sound like a Disney production, but it's real life. Brigadier Sir Niels Olaf is a king penguin who currently resides in the Edinburgh Zoo, Scotland, and is the mascot and colonel-in-chief of the Norwegian King's Guard. He's the third in his family to inherit the title, and goes
Look at him, by the way. I feel like it's. I don't know why they do it, but it's like I feel like it's really so fun, you know. I don't know if they should stop doing it, but for me, I don't mind it. I just feel like it's fun, you know.
by the title Niels Olan III. He got his knight title in 2008, and in 2016, he even got a promotion at the zoo, and they made him a brigadier. You'll see Sir Niels Olav walking in front of his
Penguins, nothing walking more funnier than penguins, you know, like their walk is like so funny.
army of men, and a tiny decoration can be seen on his wing. We're now waiting for the written biography and the movie to be made. Number 14. Oslo donates a Christmas tree to Trafalgar Square every year as a thank you for the World War II support. World War II had a lot of its battlefields in Europe. Long story short, the Germans went on a quest to take over the countries around them and expand their territory, but were not very successful in the Scandinavian peninsula. Norway was invaded by German forces in April of 1940, but they were not able to capture King Haakon. He was later exiled in London, where he tried to take his country back. With the help of Britain, he managed to take back Norway from the German occupation, and in order to show his gratitude, the king promised to give a Christmas tree to Trafalgar Square every year. Since then, every year the Christmas tree you see lit up in Trafalgar Square is a kind.
I feel like it's like really so. I feel like this. It's really so nice that they do this like every year. You know that they like donate a Christmas tree. But imagine like the year they stop doing it, how awkward that is gonna be. Like, you know, oh hello, where's our Christmas tree? I'm sorry, but we wouldn't have enough Christmas tree to give you this. But I feel like it is a nice gesture actually, But Norway and Scotland, I feel like they are pretty close. Or the UK in general, like not a lot of Norwegian people they love the UK, and the UK also I feel like they like Norway.
Gift from Norway. Now that's what you call diplomacy and good foreign policies. Number 15. IKEA names wardrobes and hall furniture after places in Norway. IKEA, the place where couples fight over bedside tables and curtains for the living room. It's probably one of the most recognizable brands in the world, and yes, we know it's Swedish. What you might not know is that IKEA has a strict rule of naming its objects and furniture items. The rules for naming were devised by IKEA's founder, Ingvar Kamprad, who struggled with dyslexia and had trouble remembering the order of numbers in item codes. The name IKEA itself is an acronym for Ingvar Kamprad Almterid, his family's farm, and Gunnarid, the village he grew up in. So,
Man, like this is like really so amazing. Like wherever I move in the future, oh my god. If they don't have IKEA, I feel like I'm not even gonna go to that place now. Because like having IKEA, imagine one place you can go, you can buy a kitchen, you can buy a bathroom, you can buy beds, you can buy like furniture, you can buy everything you want is in one place. Like I feel like IKEA is like the biggest life hack. Once you have good taste, you know what you are doing, you know what kind of a design you want. IKEA things can be pretty amazing. Some people feel like, oh, it's IKEA furniture is not so good, but I don't agree with that. If you have a good taste, you know what you are doing, you know what you want. IKEA is the place for you.
bathroom articles are named after Swedish lakes and watercourses, bed textiles after flowers and plants, and beds, wardrobes, hall furniture after Norwegian place names. There are also other Scandinavian references and a lot more of Swedish culture, but Norway is also a part of IKEA culture.
Like I really enjoyed this video. I feel like it was really so amazing. There was a lot of things, but actually most of the things she was saying is really things that I already know and things I should know because I live in Norway. But like one thing I'm sad about is like this when you talk about the Sami people. Like I feel like I don't know nothing about their culture. I don't know nothing about their language especially. The culture I know a little bit because you watch movie and stuff like that, but the language it's like I know nothing. At least you should like know how to say hello, how are you, like but it's actually really nice. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you do, remember to like it, comment down below. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.